Hey everybody, Rob here with your Babymaker production update of the week. And please hang tight to the end of this video because we do have some new footage from our third facility, which is producing Babymakers as we speak. It's really exciting stuff, a place we've worked with extensively before, and I can't wait for you to see it. First, I wanted to cue you in on a few modifications we'll be making to these weekly updates. A lot of you have been asking for a bit more behind the scenes looks. Don't just share the good news, share all the bad news and everything in between. So we'll be doing just that moving forward. Not just all the accomplishments of the week, all the deliveries, etc., but also any challenges that we encounter for the week and how we address those challenges, how we overcome them, what decisions we make, so that you'll be able to see what we're doing and also provide your feedback moving forward so that we can serve you better. So you can expect to see a lot more little things from us to keep you better informed. This week's update will be in video and text form. I'll just be going over the highlights today on video because there's a lot to cover, and you can also refer to the full written update this week for more information, as well as a global status update on where we stand around the world. So the very first thing I want to cover is a challenge we've encountered this week, and it does affect Sterling bikes that are in production. There's going to be a slight delay on the production of those because we received hoods for the Sterling bikes with a small blemish in it. If you look at this photo here, you notice it's from the injection molding from the hood. We had to make the tough call between building them with that hood and sending all those hoods back, getting them remade, and waiting for those to come in to build them. We don't want to ship you a bike with a blemish on it. You know, you paid good money for it, expecting a very high quality product, and we're going to deliver that. So we did make the tough decision to send all these hoods back. It's going to be a couple weeks to make new ones and get them delivered, but the end result is going to be a better bike for you. It will not slow our production in terms of the volume of bikes that we can produce. What we're going to do is just build all of the other SKUs, all the other variations in the meantime while we're waiting on those. So Sterling folks, apologies for this minor hiccup in that. It will mean a slight delay just for the Sterling production, but we should be able to get caught back up once those new hoods are back in. The only other major challenge that we're dealing with is on the logistics, fulfillment, and distribution front. So the whole team, they're working their butts off to make sure we can move as many bikes to the right people around the world in the shortest time possible. A few things with that, we did recently inform you of shipments going out to Canada. So about half of the shipping notifications went out on those. The second container for Canada though, they're actually going to the US and then up to Canada. The second container has been sitting in Shanghai for about 10 days. We just can't get it on a boat. So that's been an ongoing challenge. Troy will have an update for us in our next live, whether that's been loaded on the boat or not, but it has been held up at port going out just because of the availability of shipping space on containers leaving China. So that's been one small challenge, but once it's on the water, pretty much the rest of the orders in Canada can expect to start receiving those shipping notifications if you haven't already. In the last update, we did fill you in on a small situation in Europe where approximately 14 bikes were shipped to the wrong customer, the wrong bike to the right person, basically. We did recover most of those bikes. However, several people, I believe about 6 people, did open the bikes, put them all together, and kept the wrong color bike. So what that has caused is a bit of a downstream problem where we don't have the right bike for the right people. So Troy has been working his butt off on that to make sure we get as many bikes back as possible, distribute the right ones to the right people, and then for the incoming ones kind of get caught up there. So there's a little bit of a bottleneck issue there, but Troy's just turning the corner on it. And when the next group of bikes hit our fulfillment center in Europe, we should be well past that. One other issue we have seen a few times in the US is stolen bikes. And in the grand scheme of things, very, very small number compared to all the ones that have been delivered. We've got reports of 4 bikes so far out of the thousands delivered. It's a situation where FedEx has delivered the bike, they're supposed to get a signature, and either no signature was gotten or perhaps the driver filled it in himself. That's completely against FedEx policy, so we've been working really closely with FedEx to make sure those standards are enforced stricter, and also to get compensation for those stolen bikes so that we can make sure the bikes do go out to the people who did get them missing. But we want to make sure that if you are waiting on your bike that you do sign up for the FedEx Delivery Manager. And what that's going to allow you to do is track the bike through to your home. It will text you, I think, or email you when it's being delivered. You can also modify the delivery window so that it only shows up when you're there. So you can make sure that that doesn't happen to you, because even one stolen bike is a serious crying shame. The last minor logistics issue that Troy, Ben, and our logistics team have been working through is a shipment from November where we received less bikes than we were expecting. So shipping notifications did go out for those. And there were, I believe, 8 people where we were short about 8 bikes, 8 people that got the notifications, but there was no bike for them. We were shorted the bike. So we've been working on that for a while, and I believe we've caught up to all but 2 of those. So the remaining 2 folks who got the notification back in November haven't received the bike yet. You should be seeing movement on that very soon. That's it for this week's major challenges. In other news, we have recently brought on another full-time support staff. Her name is Rachel. She's totally awesome. She's been doing support for Miles electric skateboards, now moving full-time with FLX, our electric bikes. Just in anticipation of all the incoming bike deliveries, we wanted to bolster our support team a little bit more. So super excited about that. All right, so without further ado, that brings me to the last and final point of this video, is to show you our 3rd factory, which is recently online. They've actually been waiting for all Babymaker components to arrive, and they've finally arrived. But in the past months, they've been stockpiling frames, building frames, and basically stockpiling them just to prepare for the final components to arrive and begin assembly. So this is a facility that we've worked with extensively before on our top of the line blade model. The quality is out of this world, and check out the videos, you'll see what I'm talking about. All right, so all of the frames are made in-house here in this facility, and check it out. When you want to talk precision, we've got, very, very top of the line robots laser cutting these tubes to make sure everything is spot on, literally no blemishes, and every single one is perfect. After the tubes are cut, they're put together on welding jigs, making sure that everything is in the right place, and then they are spot welded. So here you can see some welding, putting the bottom bracket onto that down tube. Super cool. That looks like a fun job, and if you've welded before, it is tough to get a nice bead. So here is a front triangle with all of the spot welds on. So this just tacks the frame into place, all the pieces where they need to be at the right angles and everything. They're spot welded in the jig, and then the weld is completed here by hand. After that, check out here, she's not feeding any material into this weld. This is actually the 2nd and 3rd time she goes over those welds as part of our smooth weld process to get those beads super even. Look at that, just beautiful welding beads, and there are some more processes later applied to that to make them even smoother. Now this is adding the rear triangle to the front triangle, so we do have the seat stays, chain stays, dropouts. This is the template where they are spot welded onto the rest of the frame. The weld will be completed by hand after that. So after the frame is completely welded together, it does go through quite a bit of testing to make sure everything's in line. The frames are then going through heat treatment, which brings them from a very soft metal that's easily malleable, welded together, to a super, super hard metal. It basically crystallizes the molecules in the aluminum, kind of changes their structure so that they're super rigid and super strong, so that when you're riding it, you don't have any issues. After heat treatment, there is some warping because the temperatures can move things around a little bit. So the frames are put into adjustment jigs where everything is laid out by template where things need to be, and they are adjusted slightly to make sure that everything is in line. Here's a cool little adjustment. This is the rear dropouts. It's where the rear wheel and motor goes. So obviously you want that perfectly straight. So this is a neat little jig to make sure that the dropouts are completely lined up and that when the wheel goes in, there's gonna be nothing off kilt. After that, the whole frame is placed on this machine where the bottom bracket is milled out because the spindle, the cranks, the pedals are gonna go there. That's gotta be dead in line with the frame. You don't want it off kilter. So that's precision machined as well. Also the head tube, that needs to be precision machined. And finally, the seat tube as well. So that's a pretty cool little drill press right there. After the seat tube is machined, it's then tested, clean it out first, and then stick a simulated seat tube in it. Make sure that goes in with no issues so that when you get the bike, it works. Now these are just some frames lined up and getting another treatment on those smooth welds. Here again, sanding on the frames and sanding those smooth welds even further. And finally, the frames go into the painting process. This is cool. It's an automated painting room. That machine goes down, sprays paint on them, and then by hand just filling in all the nooks and crannies, making sure that every spot has an even coat of paint and clear coat as well. They do go through several coats of paint. This very nice conveyor system which brings them through painting, heating, applying decals, etc. It's a very, very cool process. So here, just some black bikes on the line, matte black. And if you look in the background, there's some blue ones. Those are not Babymakers. That's another brand of bike, not the Babymaker. So don't worry, the Babymaker Blue will be a different one. All right, that is all the footage I have from this factory for today. We will be doing a YouTube live video, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you do subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can see the next video first, and so you don't miss our live Q&A. I'll be on it, Troy, probably Ben, Sarah as well. So hang tight for that. Thank you so much for watching this update, and I will see you in the next one.